understand it. Now, I know from reading your blog that you don't think Spector's celebrity will help him, and you have a pretty specific theory as to why it won't. Tell us.
Well, it's kind of a tongue-in-cheek theory, but I'm sure people on the, people on the East Coast are familiar with the expression, DWB, driving while black, which refers to, the likelihood that if you're African American, you might get pulled over more often than if you're not. And I think we have DWMB, which is, driving or defending while in the music business. It seems that if you're a celebrity, and you're up on charges, you stand a better chance of getting off on those charges unless you're in the music business. We just seem to attract a certain level of, yeah, but he's in the music business kind of quality. And people, yeah, but the music business people with their parties and their drugs and everything else, he's probably guilty. And I think that is definitely in play here. I think if the same defense were being put on and Phil Spector were Richard Gere, I'd lay 10-to-1 odds that he would walk, but he's not. He's a music producer. He's kind of odd-looking. His hands are shaking. Why his defense team isn't telling him to keep his hands in his lap, I'm not sure. But so I think all that is kind of in play here.
Yeah, I guess I get the feeling, Moses, that the defense team really doesn't tell him much of anything. I'm sure he's a defendant who actually knows who the boss is in a courtroom, while many don't. Let me ask you about something else you've got on the blog. It's your own question that you pose, and I'm going to throw it right back at you. Is it that the movie and TV stars are victimized by their fame, but people in the music biz are actual badasses? Your language, not mine. Or is it because it's just far harder for defense attorneys, even high-priced ones like in this case, to create reasonable doubt for people who fit the music business, profile? So which is it?
Boy, my words coming out of your mouth sound so much better.
That's what I'm paid for, baby.
I think it is harder for people in the music business to raise reasonable doubt because of our lifestyle, because it is a crazy lifestyle. It's not a 9-to-5 lifestyle. Every day in the music business is casual Friday, very casual Friday. And you have eccentric personalities who are rewarded for being eccentric. Now, a lot has changed in the music business. In corporate mergers of the 80s and 90s, when the music business met with international companies, along with that came the insurance companies who insisted that clauses be put in recording contracts that had mandatory drug testing, life insurance policies, all the things you might see in other industries. And that, I don't want to say it quieted things down, but it definitely made record companies think a little bit harder about who they were employing. But those standards never applied to the record producer, who's always basically a work-for-hire employee of the recording artist and the record company. Phil is an exception, though. He had his own record company, and his deal with the Ronettes was very different than most deals that artists have with their producer. Yeah,
and he helped the business to evolve for better or worse. Why so many lawsuits? Since we're Court TV, we're always interested in this. Phil has been involved in so many legal actions, and so many others are. What is it about the business that leads to so much time in court?
Well, the entertainment business in general, and the music business specifically, is a business about leverage. In every business you want to buy low and you want to sell high. In the entertainment business, the music business, buying low means taking somebody who's unknown, using your resources to make them famous, and then, of course, if you're successful at that, you cash in. Now, remember that it's a high-risk business, so for every 10 risks or 20 risks you take, for every 20 artists you invest in, you will probably only see a profit from 1 or 2 of those. So those 1 or 2, you want to take as much profit as you possibly can. What happens, though, is the artist becomes famous. The artist starts believing their own PR and starts believing that it really has everything to do with their talent and very little to do with the marketing and the machinery behind them that makes them famous. And this kind of changes their perspective on how valuable they are and how less valuable the producer and the record company is. And at that point, there's a lot of attorneys very willing to assist the artist in asserting their rights. Yeah, well, I got to tell you, artists in lots of industries, including the TV news business, always think it's all about their talent and less about all those other extrinsic